I was walking with the cops when they made their first arrest of the night here on Rouse next to the poorhouse. If you look down here, you can see we've gotten about 6 to 8 inches of snow out here in Belgrade. Now, one thing I can tell you is that while the wind and the snow have calmed down, it is getting colder by the second out here. I'm losing feeling in my hands. This might look like a normal loaf of bread, but it's actually gluten-free, meaning it has no wheat in it. Ted, I got a chance to walk with some of these electric fans earlier during what has become the opening salvo to MSU home games, the Cat Prowl. This is the spot on the road where Bonnick was taken to the ground by 3 sheriff's deputies and 1 highway patrolman. This is what's left of the car, literally a carcass after the fire tore through it. Now residents worried if someone's willing to do this, what's next?
I think we're going to add 15 pounds of sugar.
Oh wow, okay, so that's a heart attack waiting to happen right there. But it's a good one. The exciting announcement of the night is that Eagle Mount has found an anonymous investor who has offered to put up half the money to winterize this barn. Everyone is in a pretty good mood, and why shouldn't they be? However, Karis did tell us the bars do play a large role, saying they can't serve minors and may need to stop encouraging over-drinking with drink specials. Branneman's technique is not so much about retraining the horse, but retraining the rider on the horse. One of the ways they're raising money at tonight's event is by selling these wristbands, which say community, strength, and unity. The carnival will be in town until Sunday, where it moves to Salt Lake City, but it'll be back in August. There are still Stage 1 burn bans in Madison, Gallatin, Beaverhead, Jefferson, and Park counties. The building and the sidewalk remain closed, but building inspectors say they plan to investigate the damage Monday morning. One way of containing a fire is to dig a fire line, which is what this bulldozer is doing right now.
I don't even know where to go from here.
Roommates Cassie and Ashley, who moved in only a month ago, were in their apartment at 807 West Villard Street when this fire broke out.
Somebody said there was a fire on the 2nd floor and to get out, so we ran outside, and then within a couple of minutes there were huge flames coming from the 2nd floor and the windows bursted out.
They escaped with their lives, but not much else.
So we just went outside thinking we'd go back in 10 minutes or so. Didn't bring anything at all, left everything. Everything's in there.
We got lucky.
Having lost everything they own means starting from square one.
I just moved in here a month ago and I was going to go to college, and everything I own is in there, so I didn't really know what to feel or what to do. It was just very shocking.
Alex Neves, who has a friend that lives in the building as well, showed me exactly what he saw last night.
Saw flames shooting out the back, and we saw fires coming out of these windows. This is where it was shooting out the most. And you can see it from the street right back here. So, yep, right here.
Now, while all of the occupants did make it out safe, Deputy Fire Chief Greg Meagard says much of this damage could have possibly been avoided by one action.
If you leave your building, your house, your apartment, always close the door, because what you're doing is you're limiting the amount of oxygen that's able to feed the fire. So had they done that, it would have kept the fire from getting into the extra stairwell. The units that, when the occupants left, the doors were left open, have significant fire and water damage. The units where the occupants left the doors closed or closed them when they left has minimal water damage and little to no fire damage whatsoever.
Thankfully, working fire alarms and vigilant neighbors kept this from being a much greater loss.
Yeah, it's a win. I mean, it's tough to say that when you look at the building behind us, but again, items can be replaced.
In Bozeman.
I don't really know what to think, right? It's not real, I guess.
I'm Ben Trotter for Montana's news station.
Starts with base layers and lots of coffee.
Todd's been washing cars since last March. He says while the water felt good through the hot, dry summer,
These last couple months, they've been interesting. You got to gear up.
Especially working around water in single-digit temperatures. So how does one keep warm when it's this cold?
The layers. Layers are key, and just keeping that water off you. I have on my rain pants, my muck boots, and sweatshirt. My hands get the coldest because gloves never stay dry.
Staff say one of the biggest challenges is the steam rising up off the car as it obscures your vision and condenses, making your job that much colder.
The visibility gets kind of bad and it's hard to see where the car is sometimes just because of the temperature change of water to air.
Manager Chad has worked here all his life and says the key to keeping warm is good business.
If it's busy, you can go all day because you stay warm by moving. But once you stop and stand around, then it gets cold.
Everything you do is frozen, so it doesn't roll up. It's difficult to handle.
Brendan Hansen knows the rigors of winter work.
The material itself, the block, or brick, is so cold that it tries to freeze the mortar as you lay it.
Masons normally don't work in the winter, as once the mortar they use to hold brick and stone together freezes.
It loses its strength and it shows up as it whitens. So all the joints will be whiter, which is not the look the architect goes for.
So they tent off where they work and heat it with propane, but when the temperature drops at night,
it draws air underneath the tent. And so you're basically vacuuming in cold air at your wall, even as you're heating it up.
even the propane will freeze in this cold.
And then it won't draw propane through the line. And so periodically throughout the night, your propane heaters will go off. And if they go off and you don't catch it within the hour time period to get them kicked back on, you'll lose tens of thousands of dollars worth of masonry.
Not a great way to start the year. In Bozeman,
Gotta keep a smile on your face and power through it.
Ben Trotter, MTN News.
It takes a lot of work, a lot of energy, and a lot of people working together to make it happen.
Robin Miller has volunteered with Sweet Pea for 13 years now.
We're actually going to separate things out into different areas. There are 4 different stages where we'll be taking things.
She coordinates all the setup on Thursday and Friday before the festival begins.
So just listen to me. I'm going to say put that by that tree, that by that tree, that over there. That's how this is going to go.
Not only that, but it's a family affair for the Millers, as her husband, son, sister, and brother-in-law join the ranks of nearly 100 volunteers.
When we get all done unloading the trailer, then we'll move on to the next step. But the very first thing is to get everything unloaded and out of the trailer.
And there's a lot to unload.
These are the hammers that all the wood building gets built with, when you hear the tap, tap, tap all day on Saturday. These are signs everywhere from no parking in the neighborhood. We have signs that show this is temporary loading, unloading signs. That really is toilet paper, so when we run out on Saturday afternoon that we can refill the porta potties.
Robin and Travis's son Colin works alongside his parents coordinating setup.
I think this is children's hammers.
And he's keeping busy despite a broken arm.
I actually count on him to be kind of a crew boss, and he does a great job and really looks forward to it.
It's fun. We kind of all do it together, and it's a lot of fun to do it and just kind of bond.
Okay, please be careful. Watch yourself. Don't fall down.
After hours of work, this park will finally be ready when the gates open at 4 p.m. Friday afternoon.
In Bozeman.
That's it. That's the whole story.
I'm Ben Trotter from Montana's news station.
Wanting to get a little desk time, so here you are.
Absolutely.
You show up early, and look what happens.
I did. That alarm went off at 4:30, and I didn't think I could drag myself out of bed, but I did.
And you show up in this building early.
In this building.
They put you on the air.
And now our top local story. One man is behind bars after an early morning homicide in Billings. For many people, the holiday season is a time to make donations to their favorite groups, with many organizations counting on the season as a primary fundraising time. However, some people choose not only to give financial support, they choose to give of their time. KBZK and First Security Bank have teamed up to recognize some of these special volunteers in a series we call Our Community First. And also in art, the stained glass at one Missoula church is getting a facelift. A local artist talked to MTN's Christy Aranguez about the challenges and rewards in refinishing some of the oldest art in the city. And it's a happy ending to a Christmas story that could have been tragic. Yesterday afternoon, Gallatin County Dispatch received a call from a woman whose snowmobile party was stranded on Buck Ridge south of Big Sky. The caller stated they had 3 children, ages 4, 9, and 11, and 3 adults in their group. They were having issues getting a snowmobile unstuck and were also off a marked trail and a bit disoriented. A sheriff deputy coordinator and search and rescue volunteers were dispatched to the scene. 5 rescuers on snowmobiles located the stranded party. Members were able to get the snowmobile unstuck and assist the party by giving the children rides out of the backcountry on their snowmobiles. Formal attire and masks will help support art and culture in Butte and southwest Montana. The 35th annual Masquerade Ball is coming to the historic Clark Chateau in Butte. Ticket sales will help support the Butte Silver Bow Arts Foundation.